The Office is coming up on their 20-year anniversary from their first episode here in a few days, and that made me want to do a video on The Office. It's my favorite show of all time. I've seen it 50 plus times all the way through, and I know that's not a flex. But this is going to be my ranking of the characters of The Office, 30 of them to be exact. This is my ranking, and it's like how much I like when they're on screen mostly, but I don't know. I am excited to do this, and I hope you enjoy too, and I guess I'll start.
Shut up about the sun! Shut up about the sun!
At number 30, I have Gabe Lewis. I don't know how to describe how much I hate Gabe. He's truly unlikable, weird, and altogether creepy. It's honestly a testament to how good he was as an actor, because he's clearly written to be like this. But all that being said, I hate Gabe so much that he made me hate my own name as Gabe, and I think that makes him deserve the bottom of this list. At number 29, I have Nellie. Nellie had an unfortunate mix of being both unlikable in the show and not very important to it either. She was kind of thrown into the later seasons, which doesn't help, and she just wasn't great, and they didn't give her a lot to do. She is a very funny actress. Catherine Tate's great. But, I don't know, her biggest problem was that she was boring in the show.
Oh, come on!
What has two thumbs and likes to bone your mom?
At number 28, I have Packer. Packer was crude, homophobic, sexist, and so many other things. I never found him funny and always disliked when he appeared on an episode. He was like the very worst version of Michael Scott, but turned up to 100 and with zero redeeming qualities. I hate Packer.
I feel very blessed.
At number 27, I have Meredith. Meredith always just seemed like the female Packer to me in a way, at least in the crudeness. I never found her funny, I never found her character very compelling. She was always just, being gross. She never really had much to do on the show, which is unfortunate. And she's just around a lot of the time, so she's pretty low on this list.
These are costing me 10 cents a piece, you jackass! I'm roaming!
At number 26, I have Jo Bennett. Jo's character was always kind of one note to me, eccentric entrepreneur with a silly accent. She was just boring, but her worst sin was bringing Gabe to, The Office. That was awful. But in all seriousness, she just wasn't doing very much other than being a mean boss sometimes. That's it. I don't know.
She's got a way about her.
At number 25, I have Roy Anderson. Roy is one of the most straightforward characters in the show. He's a tool. He's an angry jock stereotype that was destined to lose the girl to the main character. He had anger issues, he even attacked some of the people on The Office, and just wasn't very compelling. He did eventually make his way out, though, and he ended up very happy.
Lie.
Andy,
You're
I'm
a big
trying
idiot. Get out of my office.
Andy.
At number 24, I have Plop, or I guess Pete. He just didn't have a lot to do in the show since he came in so late. The only arc that he had that I really enjoyed was his relationship with Aaron and how him and Andy had to deal with that together. I didn't mind Plop, but he was just kind of around.
Welcome to the club, man!
At number 23, I have Dwight Jr., or Clark. So he is only slightly higher than Pete, but I think that's just because he's a little funnier. And I think how he interacts with other people in the office is more interesting. Like how Pam wanted him to be his desk mate because he was clean and he was not that awful of a person. I don't know, I like that. But other than that, he was just kind of boring.
Babes.
Smile if you love men's prostates.
At number 22, I have Toby Flenderson. So this is a bit of a controversial take, but I don't hate Toby. I get it, he's a bit weird, especially with Pam and eventually Nellie, and he is boring. But he's just a fun character to interact with Michael and watch Michael relentlessly bully throughout the show. And I love seeing him just randomly get spouts of confidence. I don't hate Toby, but I think I would in real life.
He's always looking at the camera like this.
At number 21, I have Karen Filippelli. Karen wasn't around long, but she did make an impact on the show. I never found her very funny, but I did enjoy her character. I don't know, she didn't bring a ton of fun to the show, unfortunately, but it was interesting seeing her with Jim and then her interact with Pam after. It just, I don't know, made the show a little bit more interesting. At number 20, I have Andy Bernard. Now this ranking for Andy hurts because if the last 3 seasons didn't exist, he might even be a top 10 character to me. But they drag him down so much. He was occasionally funny though, and he did bring a lot of chaotic energy, which I really liked. But Andy, he went through character assassination near the end, and it made him kind of suck, though he was cool in the last episode.
Everything he does is sexy.
At number 19, I have Holly Flax. Holly was probably the hardest person for me to rank on this list. On one hand, I thought it was so cool seeing a basically female version of Michael. But on the other hand, when her and Michael were together, a lot of the time it was super annoying. She also lost points because she had nothing to do in the show other than being a love interest for Michael. I wish they would have branched out more and given her more to do and say as a character, more stuff with HR even, I don't know. But yeah, Holly's okay.
And I can't even take off my hat because then I'm Hitler.
At number 18, I have Pam Beesly. Oh, Pam. I know a lot of people won't like this ranking, but I don't like Pam that much. I think she's really boring and did not have much of a character arc throughout the show. Which would be okay if she wasn't one of the main characters and the main love interest of the show. She was at her best when her and Jim were flirting in the office, but most other times I didn't enjoy when she was on the screen. Unfortunately, she just kind of didn't evolve as a character once her and Jim got married.
Thank you, Michael. It's beautiful.
At number 17, I have Oscar. I find, the know-it-all that Oscar becomes later in the show just really good. And then him being one of the only normal people, kind of ironically the straight man of the show, he does a great job of that. I really like Oscar, and I wish he did more throughout the show.
Close your mouth, sweetie. You look like a trout.
At number 16, I have Phyllis Vance. Phyllis is usually a boring character, but on the very rare occasion she is messy, it's amazing. She's honestly bitchy sometimes, which is awesome. When she's doing that, she becomes much better and more of a main character. And I also love how her and Bob Vance are. They're really great. They are the couple to strive for, not Pam and Jim. At number 15, I have Angela. Now, I mentioned bitchy for Phyllis, but Angela is the queen when it comes to that. She's got a so mean it's funny thing going, and it actually really works for this show, and I love it. Everyone has a coworker like her, so it's very validating to watch bad things happen to her occasionally during the show. She's really great. Her relationship with Andy's so interesting. Her relationship with Dwight is even more interesting. I really liked Angela.
You don't even know my real name. I'm the Lizard King.
At number 14, I have Robert California, the Lizard King himself. Robert California was such an odd and interesting addition to the later seasons. He was absolutely bonkers, which is one of my favorite parts of his character on the show. He really had a mysterious aura about him, and that made every time he was on screen even better. I thought he was one of the better bosses they ever had in the show. At number 13, I have Jim Halpert. Now, this is another controversial placing. I don't like Jim as much as most people do. He's great and he's funny, but also becomes less great further on into the series. I truly think his character went downhill after the Niagara episode when he got married, just like Pam. I do love his dynamic with Dwight eventually, though, them respecting each other and becoming friends. But Jim's one of the main characters, and a lot of the time he's just kind of a dick, which sucks.
How's my favorite branch doing?
At number 12, I have Ryan Howard. Ryan is one of the funniest characters on the show, in my opinion. He's such a douche, and it makes his character so funny. He's one of the most morally bad characters in the show too, and that just adds another funny dynamic. And the cherry on top is how he interacts with both Kelly, Michael, and oh my gosh, even Pam. Him and Pam just hating on each other like just siblings that hate each other is amazing. I love it so dang much.
But on pretzel day, well, I like pretzel day.
At number 11, I have Stanley Hudson. Stanley had an opposite trajectory as Andy. He slowly, in later seasons, got more and more likable, and I loved it. Florida Stanley was great because we finally get to see Stanley happy, and that just makes me happy. Let's not even mention him yelling at Ryan or Pretzel Day. Stanley's got some of the all-timers. He is really, really great.
And then we all kill him, but first we take out like $100,000 life insurance policy. I bet you guys like that idea.
At number 10, I have Erin Hannon. Erin is such a fun character. I feel like she brings so much joy and corny comedy to the show that really brightens it all up. I think she brought cool new interactions to the office and was a unique character throughout all. She can't really be compared to any, like you could say Pam, but she's not really Pam at all. She's different. She's a little more airheaded and innocent. I thought Erin was a great addition to the cast.
Well, I hope you're still committed because I'm pregnant.
At number 9, I have Kelly Kapoor. Kelly is so unbelievably funny to me. One of the funniest scenes of all time for me was when she started to randomly dance while they were doing chest compressions and Andy started singing. She's so selfish and dramatic and so well written. Her character arc of having no character arc is absolutely amazing. And her obsession with Ryan and how they interact is just the cherry on top.
Ah! You remember my cousin Mose?
Welcome, children.
At number 8, I have Mose. So Mose we don't see very often in the show, but when he's on screen, you can only pay attention to him. Everything he says and does is so funny and outlandish, and I often have to rewind it just to watch him do it again. He's one of the main writers on the show, and I can tell because he is just so funny and such a unique character for this show.
To know each other in the pot. I'm serious about this stuff.
At number 7, I have Kevin Malone. Oh, Kevin. Kevin has some of the most memorable lines in the entire show. He's so silly and dumb and just really makes me happy whenever he shows up. Though there is little to no character development with him throughout the show, I love his character. He just goes all in. The actor goes all in on being Kevin, and I love it. At number 6, I have David Wallace. Okay, I know this is another controversial one, but I love David Wallace. I often call him the most patient man in the universe for all the crazy Michael and Scranton stuff he has to deal with on a daily basis. I always thought he was so nice to Michael even when he didn't deserve it, and he was nice to Andy eventually too. He was a very smart businessman and made millions off of his fantastic product, Suck It.
I have to go make a call.
At number 5, I have Michael Scott. I think Michael is one of the best written sitcom characters ever. That being said, he's not my favorite one. He's funny and lighthearted and cringy and so many other things. But he does get annoying sometimes, and that drags him down a little bit for me on this ranking. But that being said, I do love Michael Scott. I think he is genius. I think the way he's played by Steve Carell should be studied when making sitcoms because he just really envelops the idea of Michael Scott, and it's fantastic. At number 4, I have Jan. This will definitely be my most controversial placing on this list. I think Jan is so underrated and funny. She's absolutely bonkers, and we get to see her go from one of like the normal people on the show to her breaking Michael's flat screen with a Dundie Award. She really loses it, and it's funny because it seems like it'd be traced all the way back to just her and Michael kissing. Few characters in any show have changed as much as she did in the sitcom, and I loved her arc. Jan is crazy and maybe a child predator with Hunter.
And don't forget the new black man phrase I taught you.
Pippity poppy, give me the zobbity.
Yes.
At number 3, I have Daryl Philbin. Another one of my favorite character arcs in the show comes from Daryl. He was a warehouse guy that made mean jokes towards Michael first, and then he eventually became one of the main characters who was funny and cool with everyone in the office. It was such a positive arc, and I always enjoyed episodes revolving around him. He really deserved to go with Jim and start that company because Daryl became a good dude.
Oh my God.
At number 2, I have Dwight Schrute. Now we could finally talk about Dwight. His character is so unique and funny, and there's nowhere else I could put him. He has some of the funniest lines, becoming the manager by the show end, and finally gets the girl he always wanted. Dwight is annoying at times, which made him get put to number 2, but 99% of the time he's on screen with any characters, my focus is on him. Dwight is fantastic, and I don't know, he's one of the GOATs.
It's Halloween. That is really, really good timing.
And at number 1, I have Creed Bratton. Creed had to be my number 1. He's always been my favorite. There was no doubt about it when I came up with this list, he was going to be number 1. He causes chaos, has some of the funniest lines in the show, and truly has never annoyed me once while on screen. He's always been my favorite character, and he will continue to be. Creed makes the show 200% funnier whenever he's on screen, and even if he's not on screen, as much as the other characters, he's just great. He always makes up for his lack of screen time. I love Creed, and I love his song in the season finale. That just always gets me. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Comment below who your top 5 is, because I'm curious how different it is from mine. If you did enjoy this, please subscribe and like, do whatever, all that stuff. But have a great day, and I'll see you next week.